Assalamualaikum, dear students. Welcome to you all. My name is Sadia Ghulam and I am your FST teacher. Dear students, we have already discussed about our chapter and introduction to South Asia. So, first of all, I will give you a short review of our previous lesson. Then I will start the next one. So let's start our chapter with the name of Allah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Our chapter name is an introduction to South Asia. So before I tell you that what is the meaning of SARC and what is the purpose of the formation of SARC, we have to know about the background of the SARC. As I told you yesterday, that the 7 countries of South Asia are related to each other in many ways, because there are 7 countries in South Asia and they are related to each other in many ways. And what are these things which are relevant or which are the same in these countries? So, number one, some same government have ruled many of them in the past. And which type of the same government they have faced in their past, like Mughal Empire and like British Empire, British rule, and I have also told you about the British rule. What was the British rule? It was a trade company with the name of East India Company. British came in this region to East India Company, and they became the ruler of this region. So in South Asia, many of the countries have same government and same rulers. This is one thing through which we can say that the 7 countries of South Asia are related to each other in many ways. Next is the situation in one of these countries very often affects the people living in the other countries. For example, all rivers of Pakistan originate from India, and if India builds a dam on any one of these rivers, it may affect the irrigation in Pakistan. So we can say like this, that if India builds any dam on one of these rivers, so our irrigation system will be collapsed. It will be affected. So this is also one of the reason of these countries, that they are related with each other. Next one is the environmental pollution in one country can also have effect on the other. So if any country has any type of environmental problem, so other countries or the neighboring countries also have effect on and also that affect will affect on in their country. For these reasons and more of these reasons, and for many for solving many problems of these reasons, these 7 countries of this region have formed an organization known as SARC. So the 7 countries, we can say that the 7 countries of to the 7 countries of South Asia. The 7 countries of South Asia are related to each other in many ways, we can say. And for these reasons and for this relation, the countries of this region have formed an organization known as SAARC. Now we will discuss about the meaning of the SAARC and the purpose of the SAARC. We also discuss the full form of SAARC. SAARC stands for. Now we will discuss about SAARC, and what SAARC stands for the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. It means SAARC is one of the is an organization which has some purposes, and the purpose is SAARC stands for the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. It was established in 1985 in Dhaka, Bangladesh. Each of member within 7 countries has taken responsibility for research in an area. In research in an area means it is dedicated to economic, technological, social, and cultural development, emphasizing collective self-reliance. It means they can dedicate their economic, technological, social, and cultural developments with each other. So, if one country is researching in any area, that it may can share with the other members. These areas are rural development, telecommunication, health, and population also. You can see the areas which are sharing within the countries for helping each other, like economic, technological, social, cultural development. Same as there are many other areas which are sharing like development in telecommunication, in health department, and in the population department. The head of the SAARC meet once a year while their foreign ministers meet twice a year. It means the head of the state or the head of the member country meet once in a year in the SAARC session. They meet there, they try to solve their problems, they try to resolve their problems, and they also make many type of documents. They also agreed upon helping each other in given areas. Is it clear? In given departments. So, what is the meaning of head of the department? Head of the state. Head of the state is which type of the government is running in these countries. Like if there is presidential government in any country, or there is any type of democratic country, so then there will be the head of the country will be for the prime minister. So if prime minister or president, anyone is the head of the country of these 7 countries, so all the heads of the countries, it may be president, it may be prime minister, these meet in the under the flag of the SAARC once in a year and try to solve their problems, try to resolve their solutions, and they also sign on many type of the agreements which may help them for the progress of their country. Like this, the foreign ministers meet twice a year. You can write these points in your notebook also. Okay. The foreign ministers meet twice a year. I'm telling you about the head of the state, they are called president or the prime minister of the country. Same as the foreign ministers are the head of institution or head of the department, which is called foreign department. Department means a department in which government make rules, government make policies, how to tackle the disputes with other countries, how to make good relationship with the other countries of the world. They make all types of laws for import export. They make all types of policies through which they can develop their better relationship for the with the other countries. So this department is called foreign ministry, and the foreign ministers are the head of this department. So head of the government meet once a year, while the foreign ministers meet twice a year. Afghanistan joined SAARC as its eighth member in 2007. As I told you that Afghanistan is located in South Asia as well as in Central Asia. So there are 7 countries located in South Asia, because of the being the part of South Asia as well. Afghanistan is also included in SAARC, and its eighth member in 2007. Is it clear? Now the location, you can see the location of your region. So towards the north in China, with tense relationship with India, although Pakistan and China are good friends, but India has a tense relationship with China. But as you all know that China is our good friend, so we have good relationship with China, and to the south are the Arabian Sea, and towards south lies the Arabian Sea and the Great Indian Ocean. And beyond this lies the vast continent of Australia. Vast continent of Australia. Is it clear? Now we will discuss about the countries of South Asia and the countries of South Asia. We can see about the countries of South Asia. We can see the name of Pakistan on our screen. Beta Pakistan became independent in 14 August 1947. And we all know about the struggle of the movement of Pakistan, and this is the struggle. This was the struggle through which Pakistan became independent in 14 August 1947. Previously, it was ruled by British, and you know very well now about the British. British were who entered in this region through East India Company and became the ruler of this region. So population is 180 million. It is a democratic country. What is mean by democracy? Actually, it is the right word is democracy. So what is the meaning of democracy, or you can say that what is the meaning of democratic country? You can see the lines in your screen also on your screen. Look at the screen. It is here. It is a democratic country. So why it is called democratic country? It means that the democratic system is running there, and democracy means the government in which people elect their representatives by casting votes. Is it clear? If we are casting votes and we elect our leaders by ourselves, then it is called a democratic country. So here is a very good definition for understanding this word. I can tell you, democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. It means democracy is the government which is the government of the people. It means people of the country themselves choose their leaders, and they cast their votes for their leaders. So it is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. It means for the progressive life of the people, for happy life of the people. So democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So you can understand this word better now. Next, its official name is Islamic Republic of Pakistan according to the Constitution of 1973. What is the meaning of Constitution of 1973? Constitution means set of law. You can write down these answers or the words or these meanings of the words in your notebook. So according to the Constitution of 1973, it was decided that the name of Pakistan will be Islamic Republic of Pakistan because this country is because we got freedom on the with the ideology of Islam. So the name of the country is Islamic Republic of Pakistan, and the meaning of the constitution is set of law. Do you know how many constitutions are there in the history of Pakistan? There are three constitutions. First constitution was in 1956, then second constitution was in 1962, and third constitution was held in 1973. Is it clear? Then we can see the province like territories like Azad Kashmir, Gilgit-Baltistan, and capital of Pakistan is Islamabad. Provincial capitals, as we can see and we know that the capital of Pakistan is Islamabad. Like this, every province has its own capital. Since as its capital Karachi, Punjab's capital is Lahore, Quetta is the capital of Balochistan, Peshawar is the capital of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and our official language is Urdu. Other languages include Sindhi, Punjabi, Balochi, Pashtun, Seraiki, Grafi, and more than these. There are so many languages spoken in Pakistan. Next is India. India became independent in 15 August 1947. Most of the population is Hindu, and almost 82% are Hindus and 12% are Muslims. It is a democratic country also. I have already explained you the meaning of the democratic country, and I told you about democracy and the process of democracy. So it is also a democratic country. It includes 25 states and 7 union territories. It means it has 25 states and 7 union territories. Capital is New Delhi. Famous cities are Mumbai, Chennai, and Kolkata. Famous language included Hindi, Urdu, and Bengali. Okay, English is commonly spoken by educated people, and there are also so many languages are spoken in the in this country. Next one is Bangladesh. Bangladesh became independent in 1971. Used to be part of Pakistan from 1947 to 1971. You can see these points on your screen. Why it was used to be part of Pakistan? Because at that time, when Pakistan became independent, Pakistan had two provinces, East Pakistan and West Pakistan. So it was known as East Pakistan. And here we are nowadays in Pakistan. At that time, this region is called West Pakistan and Bangladesh was called East Pakistan. So it is also a democratic country. Population is around 24 million. Majority are Muslims, but Hindus also live there. National language is Bengali. Next one is Nepal. It is a landlocked country. I have already told you about the landlocked country, a country which has no coastal area, which has no coast, which has no sea. Is it clear? It is ruled by a king. It is not a democratic country, but it is ruled by a king. Okay, population is around 23 million. Most of them are Hindus or Buddhists. Mount Everest lies in mountains of Nepal. Is it clear? So, next one is Bhutan. It is also ruled by a king along with a council. Some members of the council were elected by the people and some are nominated by the king himself. It means that some people were elected by some members of council were elected by the people. First of all, I will explain you the meaning of the council. Meaning of the council is that a king has its administrative part, its administrative body, and this administrative department based on two types of the members. One type of member was elected by people of the country, and some are nominated by the king. It means if king says that if king says that some persons are needed to take care of its administrative department, so these nominated persons will be the part of its kingdom or its government. So remember, beta, Bhutan ruled by a king along with a council. Bhutan has not the type of government which is present in our country. So it has its council members. Most depend on India for trade and other purposes. Population is around 2 million. Most of them belong to Mongol race. Is it clear? Okay. And important part of it is Buddhist monasteries. Monastery means religious places, and you can see their religious places here in this picture. Now Sri Lanka, formerly known as Ceylon or Ceylon, Lanka and Serendip. Population is 19 million. Most of the people are Buddhist and Muslim, Hindus and Christians also live there. And then Colombo is the most important trade center, and point which will be noted that by you can write down this point in your notebook. Due to its interesting shape, as you can see in the map also on your screen, It is Sri Lanka, and this is the map of India. Now, read this line. Due to its interesting shape, it is sometimes called as a tear from the eye of India. A tear, its shape looks like a tear. So it is sometimes called as a tear from the eye of India. Population is Maldives population is 0.3 million. All of them are Muslims. Capital is Nil. So next one is Afghanistan. It is also a landlocked country located within South Asia as well as Central Asia. As I have told you, population is 35 million and 99% are Muslim. Its capital is Kabul. Next, occupation. Occupation means every person needs to earn money to live in modern world. What people do in order to earn money or in order to earn their livelihood is called their occupation. Occupations in South Asia are agriculture, livestock, fishing, handicrafts, industry, labor, trade, and services. Different type of services. So, agriculture, it is the occupation of raising crops in the fields due to fertile land and abundant fresh water. It is the most common occupation of South Asia. The most fertile regions are the plains around the river Indus and the Ganges, Jamuna Valley in India and the plains around the Brahmaputra in Bengal. These are three names of the rivers which are flowing in these countries. These are the fertile area and this area is blessed with much of rainfall and it is also blessed with monsoon rainfall. Is it clear? Next one is livestock. Livestock is commonly defined as the domestic animals raised in homes for an agriculture setting to produce labor commodities such as wheat, milk, eggs, fur, leather, and wool. Areas which have not received sufficient water for agriculture, they depend on livestock farming. You can see also the picture. There are different type of animals. They raised animals like goats, cows, and camels that usually survive in cheap food and little water. Okay, fishing. Due to vast water resources, it is one of the most important occupation of South Asia. People of Sindh in Pakistan and the people of Bangladesh consider fish as a major part of their diet. So the major part of the diet of people of Sindh and people of Bangladesh is fishing or fish. Because of this, they have much rainfall. They have vast flowing water rivers and canals. So the much they consider fish as a major part of their diet. Due to the massive famine or overfishing also is one of the reasons. Because of this occupation is endangered in most parts of the world. Handicrafts. It means an activity involving the making of decorative, domestic or other objects by hand. If someone is making any decorative object by hand or in his home, it is called handicrafts. People in some areas of South Asia are famous for their handicrafts and cottage industry. Cottage industry means a low level industry. It means low level means it is the industry which have low cost. For making these things, they have not needed any much money, so they are making these things in their home. For example, woodwork of Hala in Sindh. Hala is a place in Sindh or city in Sindh, and the woodwork of Hala is very famous around the world. And then camel skin wood in Multan. In Multan is the city of Punjab, and camel steel wood in Multan are very famous. Cane handicrafts are very famous from Mali. You can see also another examples like Banarsi sarees, objects made from coconut shells, and the names of also you can see the names of the countries. In Maldives, coconut fiber rugs are very famous. These are all the handicrafts. Then industry, economic activity concerned with the processing of raw materials. When the raw material and the manufacturing of the goods in the factory will be processed, then it is called industry. Industrial growth is increasing day by day in South Asia. Next one is labor. The labor run the machines and ensure the progress of any country. Laborers have their own labor unions for their to get advantages from the industrialists, and they are found in many countries to ensure that the laborers are provided with good fare and wages and to live so that they can live a happy life. So there are many labor unions almost in all the industries. Okay, we will wind up our lecture, and inshallah I will explain you last 2 points in my next lecture. I hope that you have understood very well. Okay, take care. Allah Hafiz.